Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome back to another episode of the Keep Calm podcast. I am, as always, your host, Carmy, and we're back, guys. It's been a bit of a break. We've been away for a few weeks, but I'm back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you're waiting every day, waking up, waiting to tune in. I'm very sorry that you couldn't enjoy, the Keep Calm podcast. I'm so sorry. Had a bit of a break, I know. It's crazy. The main reason was because I got a new mic, guys. I bought a new one. It was an expensive mic, but it's a new one, and I'm very happy with it. So I'm now using a new mic. And yeah, it's just high class now. We're picking it up. We're picking up the pace here. Few things to talk about today, but again, not much has really happened, if I'm being honest. The problem is I try to find the most interesting things that have happened throughout the week, and there's never that much that's interesting. I mean, a lot of it's boring, a lot of it's depressing, a lot of it's really not something I care to talk about. But we do have something. The Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight, guys, finally went and happened. And I can say that Jake Paul was victorious. I mean, to many people, unfortunately. Very unfortunate. But look, I think it was the inevitable outcome. I was there, and I woke up, had a big night the night before. I woke up early, and I paid, and I watched that fight. And I tell you what, it was a process. It was ridiculous. It was I think the whole thing went for about 4 hours, roughly. The fight didn't start till kind of after 3 hours. And that 3 hours beforehand, man, was ridiculous. I tell you what, it was taking a while. I didn't think the fight was going to happen. It was ridiculous. But it was a big build-up. It was painful. I find these events are just it's just such a cringe fest the whole time. Had a few, musicians come out. Some of them pretty good. But it was good for about 10 minutes. And then it just kept happening. And I was like, wow, is it a fight or a concert? It was ridiculous. But anyway, the fight finally happened. We saw the pre-fight interviews. Pete Davidson was there interviewing. Snoop Dogg was there commentating. And yeah, I kind of just started to notice that Jake was going to win. It just seemed like the most inevitable thing. I was sitting there, and just the way that they were trying to make Ben Askren look cool when he was punching, and it just didn't seem it. There was no one with him in his room. There were probably a few people, but it was a lot more silent. It just seemed like he was just sitting there waiting for that paycheck. Whereas, Jake had all the people in there with him, all the trainers and everything. And he just seemed a bit more serious about it. He's there doing his bloody meditation beforehand. Whereas, yeah, Ben just didn't seem to have that. And I sort of was sitting there, and I just based off everything else I was seeing, I was like, there's kind of no way Jake's going to lose here. So I did something crazy. I put money on Jake, which, is ridiculous. I know. I put money on Jake Paul. I never thought I would do such a thing. But I did, and I'm glad I did, because it was a quick fight, guys. It lasted for about 45 seconds. And Jake just knocked him down. Ben was not in the right, he's just, everything about it, I remember, it just didn't seem like he was ever going to win. It was just seemed impossible after a while. He was the hope, he was the last hope, and everyone wanted him to, but when you look at, just everything building up, it just didn't seem, and even the way in the day before, he just seemed so much bigger in like a bad way. Jake seemed more fit and ready. Ben, as it was mentioned, looked more like a kind of milk bottle. It was inevitable. But anyway, yeah, in the last 45 seconds, so 3 hours of a concert that we got to enjoy for the fight to end in 45 seconds. That's the crazy thing about this sport, and especially as well as UFC and stuff. These things can end immediately. Like, imagine you fly out, right, to go and watch it, spend thousands of dollars, things like that, just for it to end in that time. And obviously sometimes that's very exciting, because you see a knockout, it's exciting. But my God, 45 seconds, dude. But yeah, he just got destroyed. Ben clearly was not in the right, not in the right kind of mindset, I don't think, not in the right shape, not in the right ability to sort of be a match against Jake Paul. You even saw, bro, it just, a lot of people are saying it's rigged. I mean, I don't necessarily think it was rigged. I do think that Ben Askren went into that fight knowing he was probably going to lose. I mean, but again, a lot of the interviews said that, yeah, you know, that he said that he was always, you know, he didn't, you know, if Jake, you know, works hard enough, he'll beat him. And there was a lot, I don't know, there was a lot building up to it. It was kind of obvious that what was going to happen. But yeah, no, you see him walk off with his wife, and they're just laughing, and Ben's laughing. He got that paycheck. So at the end of the day, he won in his own way. He got that cash for a 45-second bit of a fight, you know. He clearly didn't care. So, I mean, you got to respect that from him. He got his money, and he's out of there. Now, of course, because of this, Jake's calling out all these other people. It would be nice, and I think I say this on behalf of everyone, it would be nice if Jake Paul actually, you know, wanted to fight, like, fought a boxer. Like, I'm kind of sick of him threatening all these people that don't box, you know, specifically. It's kind of annoying, because it's like, well, you're not going to get much respect in the sport if you continually fight people that don't even play in that sport. You know what I mean? It's like being you know, a football player and then wanting to verse a team of hockey players. It's just, in football, it just doesn't make sense. You know, you'll dominate and people will be like, wow, he's dominating. But I mean, you're dominating against someone that doesn't play what, you know, you're playing normally. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's weird. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, you know, coming up. I'm excited to see what happens. But yeah, it's a bit crazy. I mean, I you know, what can I say? What can I say? But yeah, so that happened. That's probably some of the most interesting news of the week. I don't really know. Nothing else is really happening. I've been sitting here trying to figure it out, dude. You know, what's going on? What can I find? What can I find? I also have a weird thing. I got into crypto recently, guys, which is a very weird cryptocurrency for those that aren't you know, understanding what I'm on about. And because, you know, I feel like with these sorts of things, you sort of see people talk about it. You see all these people go, you know, especially with like Bitcoin, which is one of those things. I've gotten really into it, by the way. This is, oh my God, I've been reading up on it so much. But, you know, you see all these things. It's like, oh, I wish I invested in Bitcoin, you know, in 2015 or whatever. I think it was, yeah, 2015. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you'd be a millionaire now, depending on how much you put onto it. But that's the problem with these things. It's like, it's so risky back then. 2015 to do that, that's risky, bro. And then, you know, you get to a point now and it's like, God, that stuff's worth so much. And so, you know, you can't, you have to buy. I mean, I invested $0.0001. Like, that's how much Bitcoin I got. And it cost about $7.36. And obviously that's not enough for it to really make an impact on anything. But that's what I mean. It's so difficult now. And I feel like all these famous people are always like, invest in it, invest in it. But the problem with those guys is it's like, they've got the money to lose. You know, like they can afford to, they put in $1,000, it's fine, you know, and that's a good amount. If you can invest $1,000 into cryptocurrency and into the right ones, that's when you start seeing stuff happen. Even 100, even like $500, if you put that in, that's when you start seeing money actually happen. Because I only put in, roughly, I put about $30 into 3 different types of cryptocurrency. And the problem with that is it's like, it's not enough for it to make a big impact. As I said, I bought 0.0001 worth of Bitcoin for $7. I think I bought, I forget how much. I need to check this. I don't have my phone on me. But I spent a bit on Ethereum, which was something that was kind of rising at the time. So I decided to put some on that. And then I bought like 45 Doge coins, which is like this crypto that was made as a joke. And I just saw it and I was like, you know what? I'll put it on, because there's sort of this belief within that world that Dogecoin will eventually hit $1. I mean, I think it will eventually, but it's one of those things. I don't know. There's certain things. I invested in it the day before 420, right? The date 420. Because obviously it's a bit of a meme day, and I figured, well, Doge, might be mentioned. And the thing about Dogecoin is it kind of popped off because Elon Musk had tweeted about it. And Elon Musk has a lot of influence when he tweets things. So I was expecting him to tweet something about it, and I don't think he ended up doing it, which is upsetting. Because every time he did tweet about Dogecoin earlier, it popped off. It popped off like crazy. So there's this sort of thing. So I put a bit of money into that because I don't know. It was just a joke. It's a joke sort of thing. And overall, yeah, I ended up spending about $30 in crypto, which I mean is, I don't know, I think it's a good thing to invest, but yeah, it's just tough because you've got to do your research. I think a lot of people go into it, and I mean, I feel like it's myself included. You got to do your research and you've got to understand the market and you've got to understand what you're doing. I still am learning. I'm still looking into things. But it's just tough to sort of, it's a tough thing because if you can pull it off and if you put enough in and you know what you're doing, it can be a very worthwhile thing and you can start making a lot of money. But if you go in kind of blind and just do it for the sake of doing it, you've got to make sure that you know what you're doing somewhat or you understand it, because otherwise it's just not going to end well. And, you'll be losing. And I mean, I don't know, it's weird. It's just funny how this sort of thing has popped off all of a sudden. And I do have a belief that cryptocurrency will become a pretty prominent thing, especially in the future with money. Because for those that don't know what cryptocurrency is, I'll give you a definition on the computer real quick. But I kind of know what it basically it's essentially it's currency, right? Obviously, but it's like online currency. It says here it's a type of digital currency created from code. They function outside of traditional banking and government systems. So you think about it like this, right? God, I can't believe I'm explaining this stuff. I still feel like an absolute. I've got no idea what I'm talking about, please, but I mean, I'm trying to learn, and I think it's an emotional journey if you learn along with me. But it's essentially like, so you know how when you pay for things, there's always that third party of like a bank, like an institution, some sort of bank that sort of deals with that money. The cryptocurrency that takes away that third party, completely throws away that third party, and just sends that money straight through to a person that you're sending it to. So if I wanted to send it to, if I'm person A and I want to send it to person B, it goes straight to person B. Whereas mostly, if it was normal money, right, it would go from person A to a bank, then from bank to, person B, and so forth. That sort of thing, right? I'm generalizing beyond belief here, but I do believe that crypto will pop off purely because of that sort of banking thing being thrown out. And what I mean by that is it's like, if I wanted to, send money to people all across the world, it's a lot easier to send crypto because it's the same currency. You know what I mean? It's worth the same kind of everywhere. And it's easier to send, it's digital. And because of, a growing technological civilization, digital currency seems like the way to go. And that's why I think Bitcoin is popping off so hard for the last few years. Because of that fact. Because we've become more digitalized. And because it's a digital currency, it's easier to use, and hoo-ha, the whole world works. So I think it's an important thing to understand. And if you can invest, I think it's very important. But I also think, it's very important to learn about it. But yeah, I just think it's kind of crazy because they've got like all these like fake ones come, like not these fake, but all these kind of joke currencies coming out because it's digital. It's so easy to create. It's so easy to code and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, you've got the established ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other ones, but then you've also got, I recently I was reading up on it because when I was investing into Dogecoin, I was like, this is so crazy how all this is happening. But then I also saw that there's PooCoin, which is another one, and then there's SafeMoon. There's all these different coins that are sort of like a genuine, like established. You can literally right now, if you wanted to, bro, you can invest in PooCoin. You can invest. I'm on the website right now for PooCoin. Bro, you can straight up, you can invest. What is this? What the hell? It's so weird. So there's all these different, oh my God, I don't even know what is my life. But yeah, there's all these different things. It's so easy to do it. So I think that's why people, invest in these and create these sorts of things. So that's the funny thing. I think it'll sort of, I don't know, it's going to start to sort of drown the market with all of these different ones. And it's very annoying. I don't know. I don't know enough. I'm really careful with what I speak about because I don't want to make it out like I talk like a dickhead because I don't know what I'm on about. But it's just interesting. It's interesting, and it's something that I've gotten into. So I thought that's something that I could talk about because it's just what's happening at the moment. And I mean, It's just so weird. Now, let's do our classic, we're going to be looking onto the trending page right now, guys, because we love to check the trending page, because it's the most recent news. I mean, it's been a 2-week break. Not much has really happened. Not much has really happened. What do we have here? Oh, actually, I mean, oh God, there's a bit of wild... Oh God, no, we won't... For anyone that knows EDP, now I'm not gonna... I don't know, EDP445. Does anyone know who this is? Now, I'm not gonna say the name because, you know, it's a bit of a cheeky one. But if you search up EDP445, you may know him. You may have seen him on YouTube. You may have seen him on Instagram. He essentially, he posts, I'm sure you would have seen some of his videos. He was a comedian that posts these short sort of rant videos, and they were always pretty funny. I remember in high school, back in, you know, year 11, year 12, that was the thing to watch this guy. It just used to be so funny. But it turns out, bro, this guy is a predator. Oh my God. It is crazy. It turns out, so there was a sting operation that happened by these, I believe it was like this sting operation was sort of set up by a bunch of YouTubers that sort of find and hunt these predators and these, you know, these child predators and stuff. And essentially they pretended to be a 13-year-old girl. Now let me look into this. So it says here, so popular YouTuber caught by predator poachers allegedly trying to meet with 13-year-old girl. Oh my God. And so basically, I mean, they say that he's... Oh my God, sorry, I just read his name. It's crazy. So yeah, he has more than 2 million subs on YouTube. More than 2 million subscribers. And he was a comedian and he was so funny. And it turns out, he was caught, yeah, by these YouTubers. Okay, this is the... Okay. So this is... Oh God, sorry, I just started playing something. But yeah, he was basically caught, yeah. Because I think what happened is they posed as a 13-year-old girl. Now, a lot of people do this. A lot of these sort of, you know, like To Catch a Predator, all these classic shows and stuff. They pose as these young children and talk to these people, to these men, and women, I guess, sometimes, but obviously mostly men. And talk to them as if they're that young, and they, you know, they're like, let's meet up, and then they catch him, right? They catch him, and they've caught EDP445, bro, doing it. How crazy! Someone's so sick, like, he was popping off, and this is what's so crazy about it. It's like, oh my God, yeah. See, there's some of the messages here. Oh my God, it's horrible. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting. And look, it's and I just don't understand how people can do this. How do you... What? It's insane. It's insane, especially if you're that... It's kind of dodgy to think about it, right? Because you think about it, this guy has 2 million subscribers. He's got influence. People find him funny. Just think about all these other people, bro, that go under the radar. The ones that don't have 2 million. So it's like the people that are just everyday. The people that you probably walk past. You know what I mean? The people you walk past and probably even meet. The people you probably know. You just don't know. All these people that, you know, have this interest and have this sort of predatory, pardon me, behavior. It's crazy. So they got this guy, and look, they said, when he was asked if he deserves to go to jail, EDP45 responds, "If I'm being honest with you, I think so." What is going on, man? What is going on? That is crazy. These people deserve prison. These people, life in prison. It's horrible. I just can't believe it. It's one of those things you wake up and you see and you're like, how the hell... Why? You like these people and it turns out they're these dodgy ass people. Like, what's going on? And especially with the technology and sort of the surveillance that we have now. What the hell? How do you... Why do you even risk that stuff? Like, if you're someone that's into that stuff, that's horrible. It's disgusting. Get some help. But why would you even risk? There's so much going on. There's so much surveillance. There's so many ways to see this stuff. Oh my God. Look at this. Look, this is one of the things he said in one of the messages. Handcuff you, throw you in the back of my car, and bring you back to my dungeon. He thought he was talking to a 13-year-old. He said that to a 13-year-old girl. How old is he? Let me check how old he is. He's 30. He's 30 years old. He's 30 years old. He's 30. He's 30. He's 30. He's like basically, essentially he's fully developed. He's a man. He's a man. Almost at the age, he's starting a family. 30 years old. And he is talking to 13-year-old girls and asking them to go into his dungeon and stuff. Oh my God. I mean, there's some wild stuff he said here, but I just think that's crazy that these people still exist. Especially someone so influential, like that is wild. You just don't expect it. It's insane. So EDP445, enter to prison 445 is how I know him as now, bro. Go to prison, straight to prison. What an absolute scumbag. I'm yet to actually watch that video, but if you want, yeah, check it out, because it's just crazy. When you can never seem the same, obviously. It's just like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting that someone would even think of doing something like that. It's horrible. Oh my God. But yeah, this sort of sense of surveillance. In uni, I'm learning about surveillance capitalism. We're moving on, by the way. We're moving on from the EDP445 scandal. Essentially, I've been learning about, surveillance capitalism, which is a very interesting, it's crazy, and it's never been more prominent. And it's basically, this sense of, now that we're in this digital world, right? This sort of, where we're at now in society with, computers and Google and, research at our fingertips at all times, information at our fingertips, accounts, creating accounts, social media. What's happening is that, I think you've obviously noticed this before, and, sometimes the dangerous thing about this sort of stuff is you don't realize it's happening. And that's what's so scary. And I thought I'd talk about it briefly today because I just think it's so crazy. And this sense of technology, which is just deceiving us. It's so deceitful. There's so many ways to sort of, these companies do it. You look at Facebook and you look at just these, the way in which it's called. So essentially, let's try to go big brain for a second, because I feel like I'm waffling a lot. When you research and you put into an account information, you create an account to a certain website and you research things, what happens is all this data is stored. And even if it's all sorts of it, everything from the most unnecessary sort of stuff to the most necessary stuff, everything. Unless, if you're a male, female, if you see a certain post, right? You see a certain post and you like it. That's kept in. Okay, you like this sort of video, right? That is kind of known as residual data. Now, this residual data, it's called residual because it's kept over and it's left over no matter what, even if it's not really, wanted or cared about, like if it's not something that necessary, but it may be necessary, it's kept. It's ridiculous. What happens from that is it goes into this sort of sense of a behavioral surplus where through that residual data, these companies and, things like Google, they know exactly what you're like, and they know everything about you. And that's why it's a surplus, because it's more than necessary. They know everything. They know, and they have a way, because of this, they know your behaviors and they know how to influence your behaviors. And through this understanding of who you are and who you are as a person, through such a specific lens, they start to predict what you like. And from that comes prediction products. So that's when, you start. So I noticed this when I started getting into crypto. When I started mentioning a lot about cryptocurrency, I started to notice on Instagram and on Facebook and on Google, a lot of news and stuff started coming through about cryptocurrency. And a lot of you have noticed this before, 100%. You would notice, and it's happened for years. You mentioned something like, oh, I really need, skincare products. You'll start to see that they're advertised, and it's weird. It's a very weird thing. You start to research more things. you start to just see stuff. And look, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's not bad. Like if you start getting super interested, it's kind of like in YouTube. If you start to like a certain video, it's nice to have the recommended page give you videos based on what you like. Stuff like that is fair enough. And that's not. It's when it starts to sort of influence you, and it's when it starts to sort of know stuff about you that you don't even know yourself. Now, where am I going with this? In our lecture that we watched this documentary. This girl started getting, different skincare products and different hair products and started eating differently. And, just it started, searching for all these different, more specific things. Her dad looks on the internet and sees that she starts getting all these recommendations for pregnancy products, right? All these different things that pregnant women would buy are recommended to him. Essentially, he finds out that his daughter is pregnant because of this. Because of all these different recommendations, because he starts seeing all these things and he's like, why am I seeing all this stuff? He starts to just realize that his daughter's pregnant. And I'm fairly positive his daughter found out as well before she even knew. How mind-blowing is that? Before they even knew, they found out that the daughter was pregnant based on what was being bought, based on these sorts of all this data that was kept over and then used and, figured out that, oh, well, she's changed what she's buying. Oh, she must be pregnant. How crazy is that? And that's where it comes into this sense of economies of action where it starts to influence, if it finds out you're pregnant, then it will start to suggest products to you that you don't, that you will need or you'll want to buy based on what you like. And, it's like, oh, she's pregnant, so let's give her this and let's recommend it to her for pregnant women. Oh, look, are you feeling like this? Well, buy this. And it's just a very scary thing. And I mean, we've learned about it this week and I just think it's crazy. I think it's wild. And then you think about it sort of, and all the influence that these things have if they know you when it comes to like election results. And this was a big thing, obviously, when Trump was getting elected and stuff. Facebook, they sort of take in that data and they sort of figure out a way to influence a particular agenda. How crazy is that? I mean, it's wild. And and that's the thing. It's like, this technology is so nice, but then you start to learn about it and you're like, oh my God, it's just crazy. It's just crazy to learn about all this stuff. It makes you think, bro, the Amish got it right, bro. The Amish riding around their horses, they got their computers with no internet. You got to respect the Amish. I mean, I couldn't, but that's the problem, right? Because it's like, we rely on this technology so much now. And it's like too late almost. But I just think it's important to understand what's happening with it, right? Behind the scenes. Because ignorance is bliss. But then when you start to learn what's happening, it's like, wow. It's kind of crazy. You don't realize. You look at things like, Pokemon Go and how like all these, do you remember how there were these lures and stuff that were in the app and you buy them and then it basically essentially, good Pokemon were there. Bro, these companies were paying to have good Pokemon in front of their store, right? If you think of like a Starbucks, I'm thinking of like American examples here, but think of Starbucks. If they throw on a shiny Charizard, right, in front of the store. Well, if you're there and you're catching them, Starbucks is right there. I'm a bit thirsty. I'll go and buy a Starbucks. It's just the way in which all these different, this technology and the way that it sort of influences and it's all about financial gain and it's just crazy. I think it's wild. So I thought that'd be something interesting to mention at the end here, just because that's something I'm learning. And yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. You just got to be careful, guys. You got to be careful. See, technology is a great thing, but it's also a bad thing. You look at it in sort of EDP445. Technology is a good thing to catch him. If you didn't have that sort of texting and that sort of power, then you'd be screwed. Then we'd never know that EDP was a predator. We might take ages to find out. So in a way, it's a positive thing. But then when you look at it in certain other aspects, it can be dangerous. It's a blessing and a curse. And that's what I'm going to end today on, guys. Blessing and a curse. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for coming and tuning in back to the Keep Calm podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry about the break. I'm still trying to get into this whole podcasting scene. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. I'm trying to find my footing. But I hope you enjoyed it. This was a bit of a longer episode. We've hit roughly the 30-minute mark, and I'm very happy about that. Please, stay happy, guys. Just stay happy, and I will catch you in the next episode of the Keep Calm podcast. Have a great rest of your day, guys.